on that one.
Yeah. I went for this.
This is a new and inventive way. I like it.
I'm doing inventive.
I like it.
Inventive is good.
I'm serving
I think.
inventive. I'm just
I'm
gonna get
serving
my
inventive.
my feet up here.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, happy birthday, June.
Happy birthday,
birthday,
June. We love you.
We went to
Mwah.
June's party yesterday, and I checked with June. Hey, can we say your name on the pod? And she was like, it's all good. So we had a wonderful time at June's party. We're not like hungover, but we're tired because we're old
Yeah.
and it's early. Archie's here as well. Folks, have we heard the arguments between Australia and Turkey about the COP conference next year?
No.
Have you heard about this?
Very vaguely.
So-
Very vaguely, I've heard some things.
So basically, there's this conference they do every year, and I want to get it out of the way. It doesn't matter. They're not going to get it done, whatever the thing they're doing is. But it's about the climate, right? And about reducing emissions. And Australia really wanted to host it, being in Adelaide, of all places. Being like, we want to represent the Pacific nations better. And by having it here, you can represent them better, which I don't think really stands up to scrutiny. If we're talking about just like a conference panel, it's like, well, just bring them all there. They're not, it's not like it's going to be, anyway. So the other country trying to host it is Turkey, and no one wants to go to Turkey, apparently. But
No,
Turkey really wants to host it.
Nobody should want to go there.
Right? And it was going to cost $2 billion, and this week Australia lost or gave up on the hosting rights. But Chris Bowen gets to be the MC of the conference is the thing. So it's going to be in Turkey, but Australia's environment minister is going to be like in charge of it or something.
So they're doing a crossover.
They're doing a crossover. So I was thinking, well, this seems strange. I think it makes a lot of sense, forgetting everything else, just thinking kind of geography, to host this kind of event somewhere like Turkey at the crossroads of continents, right?
Yeah.
Rather than Australia. So I found a data set by some guy, and I've forgotten his name, that had the distance from all capital cities to all capital cities, using that as kind of a proxy.
I've seen that one, actually. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, using that as a proxy to be like, so how much distance are all the countries going to have to travel to get to the conference? With the understanding that emissions from planes,
Oh, with the emissions as well.
right?
Considering it's a
Damn.
climate conference.
Exactly. It's a climate conference. Now, and the thing with Australia is that every country pretty much is going to have to plane over here. No one's getting a boat. Whereas theoretically in Turkey, you could land travel much of the way. You could get a train or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd like to
definitely a
think
lot of
that
people could.
The possibility is that.
countries could be carpooling. They're not. I think we all know
It'd
it's
be
like,
really fun if they would.
Jet pooling.
yeah, it's private jets. Like, I mean, all the Pacific countries should get together. So, here is the total number of kilometers needed to travel by all countries added up to get to Turkey. So this is the distance between the capital cities of all other countries and Ankara. The conference itself would have actually been in Antalya, but I'm
Oh my
using it
god,
as a proxy.
Antalya mentioned. Remember, we had Antalya in the Patreon episode.
Oh, we talk about. Oh, that's where the Russians
Yeah,
go.
that's where the Russians go for
That's where-
holiday. It's the Russian version of Bali.
Damn it, we were
Antalya.
offering Adelaide up.
Yeah, I should have
Adelaide.
offered Bali up.
We should have offered Bali up. So yeah, 1,138,802 kilometers is the total distance from capital to capital in total for Turkey, right?
Damn.
For Turkey, right? So for every country to get to Turkey. So then I do the data set. You see we got TUR there. So I got us. And it turns out it's only marginally more for
Hold
us. 1,146,000 kilometers. It's about the same distance
Damn,
for
what?
us and Tur. What do you think I've done here? Because at first I'm like, does that make sense? Are there enough countries in Southeast
Did you
Asia
get rid of the ocean
and the
distance?
Pacific? Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Is it not counting ocean distance? Is there enough in Southern Africa, like enough countries, as it were, in Southern Africa, Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and Southern America that are closer to Australia to make this all work? No, I've done something much stupider.
What?
What did you do?
Us.
What?
Austria.
Exactly.
Fuck.
That is the number
What?
for Austria. In the data
Not
set,
Australia. God damn
Sorry?
it.
Australia is
Johnny.
coded as AUL.
all.
Oh.
Exactly, because Oz is Austria already.
Oh, so you okay?
So I've
That's
used
so
the
funny.
Austrian numbers. So here's the Australian number.
Oh, yeah, that seems a bit
Yeah,
more
that
accurate.
seems more reasonable.
Which
I
is
think.
2,627,413 kilometers.
Just like fucking double it.
Exactly. It's more than double. So just to illustrate how silly this is, this conference, which doesn't work, they wanted to have it here to better represent the South Pacific, and we're going to do at least double the emissions to make it happen.
Yeah, that's how you represent.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what you do for a climate conference. You make the climate worse, and then you make it not better because you're not actually doing anything.
Yeah, you sit
the,
around
The last time COP was hosted, it was hosted in Azerbaijan, which was
It's
like
in Brazil
one of-
right now.
It's in Brazil right now.
It's happening this week.
The one before that was hosted in. It was. I mean, hey, if it's getting hosted in Azerbaijan, it's basically getting hosted in Turkey. But it was also basically getting hosted in Israel because that's what Azerbaijan is.
Well, at least I will give Azerbaijan one thing. It's closer to everywhere else than Australia.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. It just, like, on the face of it, it's
Australia
like...
is just a silly place to host this in.
Well, I mean, like, this doesn't make sense, right? There's no...
Especially in Adelaide.
Conferences are a complete waste of everyone's time and money.
Yeah, what the
Bringing
fuck is
everyone
in
to
Adelaide as
Adelaide,
well?
yeah, like, come on. Anyway, but we're not serious about changing climate. If we were,
We
it'd
don't
be a
want it to
climate
change.
preference.
It needs to. We have to love it for what it is. We can't. It doesn't have to change.
You know?
Climate's like a husband that you can't leave.
You know?
Wait, no, I think we're the husband and the climate's the wife.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're-
can't leave.
Humans are the
I
husband.
think we are definitely the whatever the abusive partner is.
Yeah.
You know, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. You know, I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it.
All right, welcome back to Shouldntacome, where we have been wandering the desert. Hey, should I do a, like, Shouldntacome theme song but use the Arabian Nights from Aladdin?
Damn, that's a choice. That's
Should
a
I do one?
choice.
All right, I won't do it.
Oh.
I won't do it. You will have just heard the regular theme song. Which desert are we wondering? Who fucking knows? Perhaps it's the fourth largest desert in the world, the Arabian Desert. Maybe we're deep in the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter, where the mysteries of a dried-up Silk Road trading town whistle across the dunes.
Are you like a French Orientalist right
Well-
now? Is that your cosplay?
Why would I be French? I'm just a, like, Yanni.
This is a proud
being an
Australian.
Orientalist.
This is a
This is a proud,
This is a proud Australian.
dyed in the wool Australian.
That's not true either. I'm just being me, Orientalizing. Or maybe we're roaming around the Strzelecki subdesert of the Great Australian Desert, the fifth largest in the world, and we're about to see the longest fence on the planet. So I'm assuming you, the listener, are thinking about the same fence that Kieran's thinking about.
Rabbit-proof one.
Yeah, the rabbit-proof fence. El, do you know about the rabbit-proof fence?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I did go to school in Australia for some time.
Yeah, and, you know, the 3,000-kilometer-long monstrosity that runs across Western Australia from north to south and famously didn't really stop rabbits from crossing it all that well at first, so they had to do another one. The one of the book and the movie. Here's the rabbit-proof fence. It's long. The number one fence is the one that goes the whole way.
Yeah.
But,
Damn, that is actually fucking huge.
yeah, it's not the one I'm talking about, though. I'm actually talking about the dingo fence. You know about this?
The dingo fence.
No.
No, we haven't heard about the dingo fence? It's
No.
5,600 kilometers long, so almost twice as long as the rabbit-proof fence, and it
Jeez.
stretches from Jimbor, about 250 kilometers northwest-ish from Brisbane, to the Great Australian Bight in pretty much the middle of the south coast of the country.
Damn, let me... Oh, wow. Wow, it's squiggly, too.
A very
is.
squiggly fence.
Damn, it, like, what, encompasses, like... That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah,
Sorry, full
that's
offense.
the-
That's really weird.
I love how Tasmania is white. It's just like
Yeah, they're just like, oh, and,
We don't know what's over there.
we don't know about all of that stuff. Because what do we got? 90% hybrid dogs, many hybrid dogs, and areas of pure dingo.
So as
The
you'll
different,
see-
like, categorizations we've got.
pure dingo.
All the areas of pure dingo are north, west, top left, up left of the rabbit-proof fence. I mean, the dingo fence.
Yes.
God damn it. The dingo areas in Australia are the, like, northern coast, that big bite in the top, and somewhat in the central. But southeast of the dingo fence, they have been, you know, in many places pretty eradicated. Like, it's astoundingly successful. The main purpose of it is to keep sheep safe in this side of it, in the side of
New
the
South
fence.
Wales, Victoria,
Exactly.
like the
New
lower
South Wales,
part of South Australia.
southern Queensland, southern
Yeah.
South Australia. It's for sheep and such, right? So if you're a farmer inside the fence in that southeastern corner, fifth or so of Australia,
Yeah.
that has all the eastern capital cities in it, you are legally obligated to shoot a dingo on your property.
Damn, that's crazy.
But that's not really a problem because there aren't many dingoes because the fence works pretty well.
Yeah.
Plus the shooting of dingoes over the time since the fence has been built. The thing is, if there's not many dingoes, you have a lot of kangaroos because the dingoes hunt the kangaroos. And the kangaroos are eating all of the shrub, which has the benefit of eroding the soil quicker as well. It's not actually a benefit, it means the soil's getting worse. The lack of dingoes also means there's more foxes and feral cats, who occupy a similar evolutionary space as dingoes, but they don't hunt kangaroos. They do, however, hunt little furry guys who don't have anywhere to hide because the kangaroos are eating all the shrub.
Oh no, our furries are getting killed by
Uh-oh.
are getting killed by feral cats.
Our little furries are getting killed by feral cats, so 29 small mammals have gone extinct on the side of the dingo fence that you're not allowed to be a dingo on.
Yeah, that actually makes complete sense. Like you take out like a pretty substantial part of like the ecosystem and the food chain. Everything just kind of like falls the fuck apart because it doesn't like, especially it hasn't had time to recover at all. And this is kind of the consequences. Species like now die out because of unintended consequences of trying to, you know, fuck around with the system that's been working.
Well, and it's also when you hear about kangaroo culling operations,
Yeah.
why that's happening. One of the big reasons that's happening is
Well, they don't have any natural predators anymore.
they don't have any natural predators. Humans aren't eating enough kangaroo meat to make that work, which is, you know, always they've been trying it forever.
Yeah.
It works well enough that some people eat it, but not enough that the kangaroo.
It's not that tasty.
Yeah, it's not a very standard meat that is offered up anywhere.
No, if we were being serious about what we were doing with the dingoes, we'd also kill all the kangaroos, but that's not happening because
Yes.
people aren't serious. We're going to have the climate conference in Adelaide because people aren't serious.
Correct.
So yeah, what I'm saying is if you're trying to turn a desert into an economy, you're going to have to put big lines across it at some point to facilitate communications, livestock, and agriculture.
Sorry, line mentioned.
Yeah, lines on the list. The lines, we love a line. They create man-made borders between ecosystems. There's parts of the dingo fence where like one side of the fence is really green, right? And the other side of the fence just has corpses of dingoes hanging from trees.
Oh my
Jesus
god.
Because the
Christ.
farmers on the border fucking hate dingoes.
Well, of course.
They hate them. And they hang their corpses from trees as a warning. Like, don't come here. We'll fucking kill you.
That's fucking maniacal.
so
That's insane.
fucked.
And the other side of the fence where there are dingoes is also, like, green and lovely.
And beautiful. And the dingo's like, you know, like that's dingo hell right there. Like that is like that has to be truly horrifying for an animal to witness. Like any animal,
What is your...
including people.
Yeah, where would you not like to see a person's body hanging when you're entering? I reckon a public
I
bathroom.
don't know, man. Probably
Probably-
anywhere. I would say anywhere.
Yeah, almost
I
anywhere.
don't want to see a person's body just hanging there.
Yeah, I think the only place I think it would be acceptable would be if I was going to the body hanging farm.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see
You
the
know,
bodies
one
hanging
that's,
there.
like, around.
Yeah, exactly.
Me when I go to the body.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some bodies hanging. Yeah, you know that sounds pretty good to me.
What about, like, a haunted house? There's, like, a body hanging at the front.
Yeah, but not if it's like a real one, you know.
Yeah, a fake one maybe.
Like a real haunted house or a real body?
Oh,
Both.
You can have a real haunted house, but I don't want to see a real body there.
No.
But then how do you get a haunted house? The body has to happen
Yeah,
at
well,
some
you can
point.
take the body away. It's the spirit
body
that
could
remains.
So you
be
just want to
there.
enjoy the ghost without enjoying the murder.
Exactly. You know? And that's because I'm a capitalist. And I want the product, not the labor.
And that's how capitalism works, everybody.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Anyway,
We figured it out, everyone.
so people already know also how like damaging horses and these massive monoculture farms
Fuck
and cattle
horses.
plantations and also
Yes,
fucking camels.
Thank you. Yes, fuck horses.
All right. I'll give you all 30 seconds to talk about horses and how much.
Man,
you hate
fuck
Horses are fucking demonic. My mom forced me on a horse when I was a kid one time because she
Gross.
was like, "Oh, like kids love ponies and shit," and she forced me to go on it, and now I'm
Bad.
like forever traumatized. I was literally like bawling my eyes out on top of this horse, and my mother was like, "It's supposed to be fun." It's like clearly it's fucking not.
It's just like, why aren't you having fun?
exactly.
I don't
It's
like this horse.
You have mental illness. What's going on?
Karen, do
Yeah.
you have a rebuttal?
Rebuttal, horses, bad. Really bad.
They are.
Hate horses. They run on their fingertips. Very disgusting to look at if you look at, like, how they are. Very, very bad. They're very nervous. They'll just kill themselves when they're scared.
Yep.
Like, I don't like them very
They
much
will just
at
kick
all.
you as well.
They'll also just kick you. Like, a horse doesn't give a fuck. It's
And
just,
ugly.
And ugly. If you've ever
Ugly.
seen a horse up close, you're just like, wow,
Ooh,
that's a beast.
Demon
And
animal.
I don't think I should go near it.
Demon animal.
Truly horrendous.
Anyway, thank you so much for this segment.
Of course.
Tune in next time.
Yeah, horse is bad.
But horses are a big part of Australian farming because of the way that grass grows in Australia. You need big areas to have the amount of sheep that you need or cattle that you need. And so the easiest way to do that, rather than like penning them in and such and building a bunch of fences everywhere, is to be ranching, essentially. The indigenous cricket team that went to the United Kingdom,
They were stockmen, right?
yeah, they were stockmen, they were ranchers. So they're basically riding horses in these huge farms that cover a huge part of the Australian continent. I'm just going to overlay to the dingo fence map the modified pasture stock grazing areas, which are like they've planted introduced grass to allow for sheep and stuff to,
Damn.
go. And you can see that the dingo fence is, holds a lot of those modified pasture areas.
Yeah, absolutely. The only part where it kind of spills out is we've got further north in Queensland, and we've got a little bit at the top of the Northern Territory, and then the bottom the bottom west corner of Western Australia. That's why it's called Western Australia.
Yeah, Western Australia out there
And
in
then
the
for
west.
some reason in the sea around Tasmania.
Yes,
too.
so I haven't perfectly. The maps weren't perfect.
okay.
So I did that by myself, and I did my best. But
It's
yes,
beautiful. I think you did a
I
great
like
job.
it.
I
I
am-
think we should introduce more grazing areas to the ocean.
I agree.
That's a really good point, actually. All right. But I'm gonna make not an emotional, political point. Follow me here. No,
Okay.
I'm making a
Okay,
cute literary
okay,
point
okay.
I'm going.
about lines.
Let's do it.
So these projects are hard, right? These big farms, they're difficult, physically punishing work. You're in the heat and the sand and dust for years on end. And there's increasing numbers of people who live in cities who are reliant on materials and food produced in the interior, often produced at little to no flexibility because of just-in-time production philosophies and things like that. And every single time a country does shit like this in the desert, there's slaves at the bottom of it.
Yep.
Because a slave is drawing a line between people. You have slaves and you have people who are free. And nobody likes the idea of enslaving one of their fellow human beings. So you draw up borders around countries where it's acceptable to have slaves from, around the ideas of human, around consciousness, around intelligence, and around race and rights, to facilitate a large influx of cheap labor. Anarchists often talk about means and ends and how they're completely intertwined. The methods you use to achieve your situation determine what that situation will be like going forward. Basically, since slavery made up a big part of the early agricultural labor forces, it requires something as close to slavery as possible to continue in the way that it exists.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that out of the way, has many slaves is a big complaint you'll hear about the Gulf from slightly
Ruh-roh.
savvy
The
Australians.
Gulf, yeah.
There's a lot of Australians who go to the Gulf, party, have a great time, have slaves while they're there, and they come back and they're like, it's amazing what they're doing there. They're really building.
You know?
Yep.
And they don't realize that, or they don't know. And I think they don't realize, or they haven't really considered it.
Well, it's not slaves in the way that the West has been told slaves exist, right? Like,
Yeah.
these aren't people, like, in chains and, like, all this kind of thing. It's like, oh, no, that's a servant. They have a job here, like, and they go home to their family and they, blah, 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 blah. You can really rationalize it away instead of being like, this person's probably had their passport taken. Like, they're quite literally trapped there.
Yeah.
They have to serve you and they have to have, a smile on their face. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah. People are able to, like, that's how you keep the job, is by convincing the nice Westerners that you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Serving them is how you keep the job.
Yeah.
It's a really fucked situation, and obviously we've heard about it. I think a lot of people I served at Mecca are like, this is how the world is supposed to be when they go over to Saudi.
Waited
when
on
they go
hand
over
and
to
fucking foot.
Exactly. They're like, well, this is
Yeah.
correct. Like, I should be able to get this in
is just
Australia.
like what they do in this country. This is just their culture.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I'm
they just,
actually-
like, have domestic servants. That's just like what they do.
The first time an Australian respects another culture.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this is just like, you know, it's part of their culture. Who are we to judge?
It's really beautiful. Listen, I'm about intersectionality. Hey, oi, boy, come here. Bring me that dictionary. I need to know what intersectionality is. Just like servant comes over. So, you might have seen in the news recently, actually, that in October of 2025, Saudi Arabia has officially, at least, abolished the Kafala system, the mechanism through which forced labor is funneled into Gulf countries. Perhaps most infamously, leading up to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. That's when I think it hit a fever pitch in Western media.
For sure, yes.
Like, it's specifically...
There was a lot of headlines and outrage regarding the fact that just like in droves there were like South Asian migrant workers being killed constructing all the facilities for the 2022 FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, like I think that leaked out of our media circles, the things that we read, because this is what we're freaks. This is what we read about all day. It leaked out from that into the ABC. So I'll hand over to Elle, and Elle's going to take us through some of the most salient points of how the kafala system operates, and then we'll get back to Australia.
Nizam al-Kafala literally translates to sponsorship system, the modern iteration of which has its origin in labor practices related to pearl hunting in the Gulf. Prior to its usage to denote the evident slavery we have on hand, kafala circulated in Islamic adoptional jurisprudence to describe the situation of a child being raised by non-biological parents. Now, this is distinct from adoption, as some Muslims believe it actually goes against religious jurisprudence to adopt a child in the way like an Anglophonic layperson would understand adoption. Instead, kafala or sponsorship is implemented, wherein a child is essentially just kind of taken care of by individuals with no legal parental linkage to them, which is supposedly a permissible alternative. However, come the late 20th century, kafala came to be a term used to describe the system of a migrant worker being legally bound to the company that employs them in very much a slave arrangement.
Yeah, that feels icky immediately, bringing in like
it's infantilization, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're my baby now. In
Exactly.
That, I own you.
Yeah, that's how
I've got your best interests at heart, and I'm a business.
Unfortunately, that's how like a lot of parents think about their kids as well, like already.
Very
so
true.
It's just it's so creepy.
It's
so
fucked.
So creepy.
It's a lot of things coming together. It's the idea about the responsibility that a parent has over a child, and thus also the rights the parent has over a child, and the idea of the responsibility that an employer has for their employees, and these things twist and turn and twist and turn, and you end up like, systems like this don't just appear one day. It's not like everyone got together and was like, let's do this. It's the outflow and often the writing down of things that already existed.
Yeah.
But anyway.
As an industry, pearling in the Persian Gulf required this binding slave labor to sustain itself because, nobody actually like wants to hang off the side of a boat freediving in the water for pearls.
What? That sounds sick as hell. Oh gosh. Well, there's a pearl hunter.
Yeah, imagine just doing that. You want to do that for funsies, for free?
Damn.
Kieran, do you want to tell the audience what we've got on the screen up here?
Okay, we've got a fella. I really like that he's got a bald head and a nice beard. I think that's pretty cool. I like that about him. I think that's something I need to get into. But this is just a gentleman, like, what? He's got a rope hanging off the side of, like, a wooden boat, just, like, half submerged in the water, mostly up to his, like, head, basically. Yeah,
And
but I'm guessing he's
how
just...
there's no real thing that like any equipment.
Oh, there's no
And
breathing
he's-
apparatus.
And he's doing pearl diving,
Like, he's just gotta go all the way down.
For pearls. He's going underwater.
I think
That's
you're
crazy.
going, because I was reading about this for a while. I think they're going down for like 2-3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, just going down, free diving, and to extents that you legally require depressurization suits to do. in
That's
the like
fucked.
modern day.
And they're just like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if this guy gets the bends because we own him anyway.
Exactly, we'll just get another one.
Yeah. That's nuts.
So now, and this is a rhetorical question, who do we think hugely had their hand in all of this? I mean, before it was the Seppos, who was it usually in everybody's business?
Ooh, United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Britain.
So if you answered the British, that's not very commendable because it literally is like the easiest guess you could make.
Oh, okay. Oh, don't be proud of yourself, Kieran. No, it doesn't matter if you got it right.
Until 1971, the Gulf states were largely British quote-unquote protectorates, namely Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE, then known as the Trucial states, as in like Trucial states?
Yup.
Yup. Kuwait's independence came in 1961. Until the 1920s, the British had a treaty with House Saud of Najd, which is now the central region of Saudi Arabia. However, this was not an official protectorate status. Rather, it was signed to essentially keep Najd off UK's back as it did its customary economic pillaging in the Gulf.
Ah, classic.
We've got the British, I think the map of British protectorates, colonies, I can't read what it is. Isn't a really terrible cursive writing.
Map of
British.
the British,
Territories, colonies.
territories, colonies, mandates,
Mandates,
and
yes,
protectorates
yes.
in the Middle East.
Nice.
You'll notice it's mostly coast.
Yeah,
Mostly
funnily enough.
coast, so it's Aden, it's the Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, Protectorate of Bahrain, British Raj.
It allows for it mostly unimpeded allows for the passage of goods from the Suez Canal or like the Mediterranean through the Red Sea into the Arabian Sea into the Indian Ocean. The big thing that we're kind of the big ultimate thing we're talking about, I think, is the Red Sea when I think about it. Except for what is now Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
That's the big area that the British don't control.
Yeah, and also a section of Yemen as well wasn't controlled,
Yes.
the west.
Yes.
But most of the salient part of Yemen was.
Yeah. Some fucked flags.
Fucked flags, yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Sultanate of Egypt looks terrible.
Yeah, it's the fucking
number
it's the
6.
fucking Union
Number
Jack there.
6.
Just absolutely
Yeah,
no
not
place
nice.
for it. No place. Sheikhdom of Kuwait has something about it. Protectorate of Qatar has a little bit of a vibe to
Little
it.
something.
But
don't-
still,
Just the moment you put the Union Jack on it, it looks terrible. Like mandatory Palestine does seem to be Union Jack and then a circle that says Palestine in it.
Yeah, with a curve.
Oh no, that's word art.
Yeah, that's
oh,
word
it is.
That's
It's horrible. Why does it look like
Why-
that? Who did that?
That's terrible. Everyone else got
I
like
mean,
an emblem. Like it's like
Except for Muscat and Oman, which is
It's just red.
yeah,
just
well,
red.
like Libya's just green at this time. I think that should have been great. Every country has to pick one hex code, and that's their flag.
Exactly.
Hey, that would have been something. I
That's
think that would have
something.
been. I think that would have been kind of fun.
But yes, so that's the flags.
Back to pearls, though. Pearl hunting is very labor intensive and also seasonal, summer. The Gulf economy, however, was heavily tied to its cultivation and therefore required an immense and guaranteed workforce. Tens of thousands of workers would flood into Bahrain at the start of the pearling season, at the time usually from Qatar, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. This gargantuan influx of people power would eventually become unmanageable for the British, who were trying to save money. Of course they were trying to save money.
Classic.
That's always the thing. Like that's always what's going to happen is people are going to try to save money, and people are like, yeah, of course. It's like, but that's also the problem. It's
Yeah,
like,
because
no,
you say save money, and that sounds like quite responsible. What you mean to say is like hoard money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like everyone
Hoard
wants
money.
to hoard money. That's the issue.
Yeah, and of course, that Gulf region workforce was costly,
Ah, fuck's sake.
So you can't save money when you have to
Gotta
buy
fucking-
all of these Iranians.
Ugh.
Fuck.
man, I've been trying to offload 15 Iranians. Does anyone know someone who wants?
Either.
Like
Yeah, the market's real
Comment
rough at the
down
moment.
below, everyone.
yeah, comment down below if someone wants 15, strong, fit Iranians or whatever.
Damn.
Okay.
I just got a handful of
Anyways,
Persians.
so in December of 1928, Britain decreed that the Naqida, which is in this context is the Gulf Arabic word for the captain of a pearling ship, is to be legally responsible for his workers. That meant that if one of these pearlers absconded, tried to, integrate into dignified society, The penalty for that illegal abscondence would come back onto the Norhida. This led these ship captains to adopt more and more repressive measures to prevent workers from escaping their boats, and also to employ cheaper labor from much more vulnerable and desperate populations such as in Africa and South Asia.
Yeah, of course, because it's just like, hey, if we're now going to be blaming, like, a new person closer to them for, like, the misdeeds of, like, the slave class, yeah, they're just going to start taking advantage of people even more and more and more, because they're like, oh, well, we have to keep the boot on your neck, like, at all times.
Yeah.
Associate Professor Omar Hisham Shahabi of the Gulf University of Science and Technology puts it thusly.
The resort to such diverse methods of delegating responsibility in the conduct of imperial administration was integral to Britain's running of empire on the cheap. At the most general level, such delegation manifested in Britain's extensive resort to indirect rule across the empire as a method of governance, whereby native rulers mediated British rule over locals instead of direct rule by the metropole.
Outsourcing colonialism to
That's it.
You know, and
just like
it just
the
kind of, it makes...
colonial proxy in the location of colonial rule.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is, I guess, how the most successful empires, and I mean successful empires by, like, the broadest ones and the ones that had the, like, biggest spread did things, right? Like, because you can't have, like, one set of people from one place can't be everywhere at once to control, like dozens upon dozens of times more people.
Yeah.
So you manipulate people in power in other locations to be able to work to your ends, and then you can be like, great, cool, so now we own this because we've got, you know, their leader in our pocket or whatever.
Exactly.
Like that's a classic tactic.
It's a classic tactic to solve, I guess, to attempt to solve a classic problem of an empire spreading too thin, as it were. Like you said, you can't have people everywhere all the time.
Yeah, you know, the Mongols did this, the Romans
Mongols
did
famously,
this,
Chinggis tried to split things up between the boys in a way that was going to work perfectly and there wouldn't be any issues. And then, you know, the drunk was in charge. And then things went how you'd think when you put the drunk in charge. Mm-hmm. Ogudai. Great name.
Ogudai?
Ogudai is
Yeah.
one of the top 5 names in history.
It's a great name.
But yeah, and the British Empire was quite good at the administration parts of running empires. They knew how much they paid off people the right amounts. They did it really well in India. They had a lot of practice. The more you're able to pay people off, the more of a disparity you have between yourself and the people you're trying to colonize, the easier it is to do. And because you can basically offer life-changing amounts of money that are pennies to you, to people on the ground.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, most of the countries we're talking about now are trafficking in things like oil rather than pearls. Pearling is actually a much bigger part of modern Australian economy than the Gulf's. As we saw in the export and import charts from last episode, pearling was actually on there for Australia. It was actually relatively high. Hold that thought. We'll come back to it.
Oh, no.
However, the practice of importing workers to do dangerous jobs or domestic labor, trapping them in predatory contracts, and forcing them to work inhumane hours and conditions didn't go away when it was made illegal. Nizam and Kafala still exists in many countries in the region, especially those in the Arabian Peninsula and Levant. The settler colony of Israel formally abolished their version of kafala in 2006. However, a 2014 study found that this sort of sponsorship binding is in fact alive and well when it comes to migrant domestic workers in Israel, which just goes to show you that laws mean nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why there were a bunch of Thai hostages in Israel. Like it's the
Yeah.
like when that came up and there was like Australian news like, oh, the Thai hostages are returning home from Palestine where they'd been held by Hamas, whatever. And it's like no one wants to ask why there's a bunch of Thai motherfuckers over there.
Yeah, hey, what are they doing there?
Like it's not like Israel's like a big Thai country.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Walk Free, an anti-slavery non-profit founded by Australia's other mining billionaire, Twiggy Forrest. Insane nicknaming choices, by the way.
Twiggy Forrest? Whoa.
Twiggy Forrest.
That's Twiggy Forrest on the horse.
Identifies 5 key elements that make up a characteristic kafala contract. So 1, the employer sponsors the entry of the worker into the country. This quote-unquote sponsorship is usually in the form of paying for flights and permits and such, a debt that the worker is often forced to pay back to their sponsor. 2, the employer controls the residency and work permits of the worker. In many cases, this literally just means taking passports, visas, and other identity documents, locking the workers into cramped, unsanitary living quarters on premises, often owned by the employing company itself.
Yeah.
3, the employer must grant permission for workers to change or leave their job. This also provides legal protection for the employer if the worker leaves due to, for instance, non-payment. Legal protection for the owner, for the employer, because that's obviously who needs the protection here. And
Of
did
course.
you notice my Freudian slip?
Yes.
4, the employer can report the worker for absconding, meaning to the police or immigration authorities. If the legal tenant is abused, as it often is, including employers literally lying, it obviously nullifies any recourse to justice for the worker. And 5, the employer must grant permission for the worker to exit the country. So, you're a prisoner.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Yeah, a slave in practice, allegedly.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, this is like a way of describing the system, I would say. Like like this list of characteristics. This isn't necessarily like these are the list of rules that we have in a country. Sometimes these are enshrined into law, and sometimes they're like kind of customary by what's happening. But people who study this identify these as like the main characteristics that make up something that would be a Kavala situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nizam al-Kafala has various levels of legality across the Gulf and Levant, but it is present and common among most of the countries. For instance, Walk Free spoke to Cameroonian survivors of al-Kafala in Lebanon and Kuwait, asking them if their passports were taken from them when they arrived. For reference, the practice of passport confiscation is legal in Lebanon, but not in Kuwait. Despite this, they all answered yes. Again, laws are imaginary.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because also, who are they going to tell? Like,
Yeah.
what, oh, you're gonna go to the police about that, and then like,
What are they going to do?
What are they
They're
gonna
like
do?
in the pocket of the people who are employing you.
exactly, like you in this situation have literally no power, and you've just you've had to give up your ticket to leave. So
Yeah.
it's like you're fucked.
You're
Like,
absolutely
you are fully
fucked.
fucked.
You're gonna go. You have to go to the house of the Lord at that point. Only God will be able to help in that
Well,
situation.
funny you should say that, Jan.
Ruh-roh.
For the most part, the women interviewed by Walk Free had quite a poor knowledge of the specifics of the situation they found themselves in, which obviously made them all the more ripe for exploitation. There are layers of brokers, agents, employment companies, relatives, goons between somebody getting on a plane in Ghana and ending up a domestic servant to a rich Emirati family.
Yeah.
2 of the interviewees talk about being arrested after escaping abusive situations, including one who went to a Ghanaian church in Lebanon, only to be told that, given she'd breached the contract, there was only so much the church could do. I mean, if there's one thing Jesus loved more than anything, it's obviously slavery, right?
Yeah. Slavery, unfair contracts.
Yeah.
Meetings.
He loves that shit. Loves that shit.
It's wonderful, I'm sure.
Jesus hated, however, absconding.
Yeah,
No,
absconding.
he hated absconding.
Fuck off. He's the only guy who's allowed to abscond body and soul.
Our Lady of the Absconsion.
Yeah, Our Lady of the
Our Lady of the Absconsion.
Fuck.
The quote-unquote crime of absconding, according to Walk Free, is still enforced across much of the Gulf and Levant. As mentioned earlier, in June of 2025, Saudi Arabia made an announcement of its supposed abolishment or plan to of kafala as part of Vision 2030, which has recently been renamed Vision 2034. There's definitely a joke to be made here, I think. They have to postpone it.
Oh shit, yeah, no, the devs haven't
They're
finished
like,
the
"Hold
work.
on,
They still
no."
have patching to do on it.
For
We're not
reference,
ready.
2034 is the World Cup in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, conveniently.
Yeah, it was like, oh, actually,
I
let's just
wonder-
do it all. Let's just tie it
Yeah,
all off then.
all of
We'll
it.
wait. We do have some work to get
We'll
done
need him
before
till then. We'll need him till then.
Yeah. Tie up the
Fuck.
loose ends. But until then, Gotta keep these guys. Gotta keep these guys in use. This move by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as Saud, of the same House Saud as the 1920s, by the way, which is also where Saudi Arabia comes from. Saud.
Ah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah. Is allegedly part of an extensive plan to diversify the Saudi economy and attract foreign investment by improving Saudi Arabia's global image. You know how it be.
Yeah.
Green technology, less oil, women drive, no slaves.
Oh my god, you guys, it's actually really cool here.
Utopia, and then the line.
And then
Viral
the
Dubai
line.
chocolate.
Viral Dubai line chocolate. It's a
Yeah.
big
God, the
of
line.
chocolate.
I am.
The line.
Oh god.
We'll talk about the line again later.
I love the line.
I'm devastated that Elle removed my joke about Mohammed bin Salman's name.
No, I'm not having that. Listen.
So I'm just gonna
first of
tell
all,
it.
That was like written in my in like the part I was gonna read. I'm not reading that joke.
So
I'm just not reading that
the joke, which is really funny, is
Oh, God.
Mohammed bin Salman, which translates literally to Mohammed's bin salmon.
God damn it.
Johnny, please leave the room right now. Exit the premises.
Because he was salmon. Now he's the crown prince.
He was salmon, and
Oh
now
my god.
he's not.
This is what we have to deal with. in the
Mohammed bin
studio,
Salman
everybody.
translates to Mohammed's no longer salmon.
God.
This is what we have to deal with in the studio, everybody.
Muhammad, formerly salmon.
Mohammed nay salmon.
Okay, so now I don't know what Saudi Arabia looks like. Hey, shout out to my wonderful Saudi friend. I
Shout
love you. Mwah.
Mwah.
However, what I do know is what Qatar looks like, or Qatar, or Qatar. But I like to be pedantic about language, so it's going to be Qatar.
Bob
Qatar.
Qatar.
Our Lebanese king.
Oh, don't say that.
I've punched blokes in the Qatar for saying less than that.
my
Oh my god, no, not my Qatar. It's not that funny.
Mate, Bob was over last night. He absolutely trounced me in the Qatar.
Fuck.
It's like walking funny. That's why I have hemorrhoids.
Oh no.
God. So, in April of this year, I went on my... So this is about me now.
Yay.
Everybody, it's now about me.
Law drop. Let's go.
Yeah. So, in April of this year, I went on my first ever solo international trip.
Yay.
To Yerevan in Armenia, and also a day trip in Tbilisi, Sakartvelo, Georgia. This, side note, was a wonderful trip. The Caucasus is literally my favorite place in the entire world. My dad is from there, like, not originally. They're from Anatolia, but, recently, like, settled and stuff. I used to go to the Caucasus as a child. It was just, like, really, really nice to be in a very familiar place, but still new since I'd never been to Armenia. I'd been to other regions of Sakartvelo, not ever to Tbilisi. Hey, listeners, if you like to travel and don't mind a place with generally lower English language proficiency, go to Yerevan, I mean that. Otherwise, Tbilisi is also excellent, and most people speak English. But that's me just, like, I just, for me, it's something about Yerevan. I just
Hell
really
yeah.
love it.
Hell yeah. Put it on the list.
It's not
on the
called
list.
Naravan.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Yerevan.
Yerevan.
Exactly.
Hey, Yerevan tourism, that's free. That's free.
Hey.
First 5 are free.
Fully tangential, though. What I wanted to speak on was specifically my layover, which took place in Doha, the capital of Qatar. So, Qatar Airways has this scheme wherein if you lay over for between 8 and 24 hours, you can apply for free accommodation. Because I laid over for 14 and a half hours both ways, they just gave it to me, including a shuttle to and fro, which was all admittedly, quite nice. It's very indicative of the kind of corporate scene that Doha is,
Imagine getting that at Melbourne Airport.
That'd
Imagine
be
trying to get
crazy.
a single fucking thing from Melbourne Airport.
That would be truly crazy.
I was laying over during the day, which was a bad choice because it meant that I didn't sleep for about 30 hours twice.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. However, it gave me a bit of an insight into certain aspects of how Doha runs, particularly in relation to migrant workers. Immediately in the airport, all the menial staff were dark-skinned Africans. Of course, not the people at immigration or the table where I got my hotel permit, but unloading and carrying luggage, cleaning, directing people traffic, etc. I wandered off at some point looking for the currency exchange to an area where workers were waiting to load onto some buses, and they were all Africans. Every last one of them. When we were on the shuttle from the airport the first time, our driver was South Asian, and I immediately noticed on our way into the city from the airport some sort of like orchards or plantations. Who was working on them? Exclusively dark-skinned black people. Mind you, it may have been April, but it's already sweltering in the desert. And I'm just thinking back to how pearling season was summer, which I can't even imagine. Like, that's just like hell on earth.
Yeah.
Summer in the desert, like, it doesn't matter at that point how dark your skin is, you're gonna burn.
Yeah,
You're in the
It's not
water.
even that like you'll burn, you'll just like get heat stroke.
Yeah, you'll boil.
The heat
Fuck.
exhaustion of
Yeah.
it would kill you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Central Doha itself is quite beautiful in like an eldritch way. It has this uniformity and theme about it that's quite satisfying, but I personally found it to be like very eerie. It's so clean to the point that it looks like every ledge and corner has been washed, and the smatterings of like pseudo-futuristic architecture in general gives it this very dystopian character. It feels wrong to be there, like it's artificial, because, you know, it ultimately is.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be there.
I mean, you know.
Now, my friend who lives in Lusail, a city adjoining Doha, built quite literally for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Like, Lusail was built for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's its purpose.
That's crazy.
So she told me that this could very well be because I was walking around the streets in broad daylight in spring, but the streets were practically deserted. I don't think I walked a single green light while I was in Doha because, like, there was just no reason to. And I'm talking, like, every single establishment is opened and staffed, but nobody's around.
That's weird. What the fuck?
The only people about are the migrant workers and security who are also migrant workers. And once you understand why that is, it doesn't exactly feel very homely. The thing is that the underground metro actually was packed, but nobody is on the surface. So, like, where are you people going? Do you just, like, enter the elevator and despawn?
Mall to mall, right? Like, that's
It must be. I have no idea.
hotel to mall to Holiday Inn to hotel to...
The comparison was stark because when I landed in Yerevan some hours later, the workers for the most part were all Armenian. There wasn't a stark ethnic split. When I was in Russia this September, it was also very obvious to me, like most of the manual labor and service workers were Central Asian, maybe Kafkas. I don't know, man. It's that oil monies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's truly crazy. Like, I don't have anything to add. Just like, that's crazy. Like, that is an insane thing to have like experienced and been able to see firsthand as well how it like is on the ground over there.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And like obviously I didn't like experience it on any like real substantial level. It's kind of like I was looking through the glass a little bit.
Yeah, but even just a taste, because I've never been, like, all the layovers I've had when I've been traveling have been in, like, Singapore.
Changi stays relevant and ahead of the pack.
And it's been for, like, I don't know, maybe, like, 7 hours.
Yeah, right.
So you just sleep in the airport and then, like, leave again.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking about all the empty shops, but like staffed by people, I guess that also
Yeah,
goes
like
to
restaurants
show,
and things like that.
how cheap the labor is.
Yeah.
that
You
it
can
is
just
worth
have
it
a
for the
person
business
there.
owners to just have them staffed all day for 1 or 2 customers.
Yeah.
because of the disparity of how cheap the labor is and how expensive the products are.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, Souk Waqif, the bazaar, there was a lot of people there. You know, there were people here and there for sure. It's not like it was all deserted, but there were certain areas around that I was like walking, being like, wow, it's silent. It's dead silent over here, guys. What's going on?
There's a bunch of people just waiting.
bunch of
like,
people just waiting, I guess.
The thing about servants is that the implication is that they're just waiting all the time, that they're not being used, as it were.
Yeah.
Like, they're not off at any point. They can be idling, but like a servant's not off. When you have a society built around servants, they just often are like idling,
Yeah.
like waiting to be activated. That's their job. They're being quote unquote paid
Yeah.
to be idling. For those who've been asking, people have been asking what L's short for. It's short for eldritch.
It is, yeah.
But quite unlike Doha, one of the privileges of living in an Australian city is that you can put the slavery out of your mind for a while. You know, like
Yeah.
the oil's ripped out of the ocean, and the cattle are ranched in the desert, and the berries are picked in Coffs Harbour, and the trucks bring the steak and shake to your house. So you don't have to really see it. You can absolutely, and I think this is we got to put this on the fun episodes list. We want to do a little field study to see like the racialized division of labor in an Australian city.
That's right.
I love
we did
to-
want to do that.
I love to point this out.
Would absolutely yes.
Karen, what's up when me and you and your family go to like the club? And by the club, I don't mean
The club.
the club. I mean like the labor
RSL
club, the
club?
RSL. That what's it go like?
Okay, so we go in and we sit down, and then Yanni plays this fun game where she tries to spot another brown person. And usually it's a member of the wait staff or a chef, someone
That's
in the
it.
back of house. It's usually not another customer. Certainly, I think maybe once you've seen another customer where it was just like another brown person with like a white family.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were just like, oh, got him, got one.
It's like I got one. Oh, hey, you're doing what I'm doing. Hey, I hope
yeah.
you're doing well.
But you're right. Like, typically what happens is we'll go out, and if you think about it, in most of the service industries, you'll have someone who isn't white serving you. Like, you know, taxi and Ubers is a really, like, you know, stereotypical example where it's a job that isn't considered, like, desirable necessarily. Same with, like, delivery drivers.
Nails.
Where I'm working now in warehousing, this is the first time I've ever worked in a warehouse where there's like no brown people doing manual labor. Like none. It's actually really, really fucking weird. Usually when I'm in that environment, most people are like either not from Australia, so they're like international, or they are from Australia, but they are like not like white.
Yeah.
You know, unless they're a manager.
Yeah, like
That's where it comes in, where it's just like, oh, but the manager's white, you know?
when I worked for Coles very briefly, it was a bunch of brown people driving trucks and being told to take more orders by their white managers at inconvenient times.
Yeah.
Really condescendingly. You know, just really disgusting shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, nails is one that comes to mind for me.
Yes.
Cleaners, aged care, disability care. I recently saw an Uber being driven by a white man, and the passenger was an Asian guy. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
You know?
It's like when we saw there's a dumpling store that's opened up in Urong-Pili.
Oh, yeah.
They go, white girls working at the dumpling store. What's going
It's
on?
just like, you're like, damn, the economy must be
The economy
in
must
some
be
sort of way.
Oh, is that the
in
one
the
that we
shitter.
passed? Is that the one that's next to the place?
Next to the place that you're up away, but
that's right. You
yeah.
did mention that to me. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. I ain't never been given dumplings by a white person. I want to keep that streak alive.
You know?
One of the shithouse jobs, which we're going to speak about for the rest of this episode, is fruit picking. So it's backbreaking, seasonal, often isolated, high-risk manual labor. Right? Everything about it sucks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fruit's rotten. Sometimes there's a flood. Sometimes there's bugs. But if you're white Australian, you don't have to worry about any of that. You will be very relieved to know that undocumented workers form the majority of the harvest workers in some Australian growing regions.
Oh, thank God.
That's per the Sydney Law Review in 2021, which went on to say that the horticulture industry has a structural reliance on undocumented workers as a key source of farm labor.
Yes, absolutely.
The entire way that this growing situation works is that workers have to be ripped off. All of that risk has to be absorbed by the worker getting not shit. The creation of big states and big companies in competition with each other to profit off all the land is a race to the bottom. And whoever's willing to cut the most corners will win that race, and then their practices will become the benchmark set for the industry. So, when the world changes around the industry, for instance, the people in the cities don't believe it's right to have slaves, the industry will look completely anachronistic because they will continue using as close to slaves for as long as possible. I've got an example for you. There was one industry that was an exception to the WAP, White Australia policy.
Oh, yeah, there was, wasn't there?
Do you know what it was?
I do. It was sugar, right?
No. Yes, briefly.
Okay.
Before the White Australia policy came in, sugar was one of the places that there were non-white people working.
Yes.
So you're thinking about the right thing.
Damn.
However, that was ended by the White Australia policy.
Fuck.
Which is why we have all these fucking Italians.
God damn it.
God damn Italians.
fucking damn it.
All right, second guess.
Mining?
No. We've talked about it today.
It's like topical.
It's very topical.
It's very topical. It's something we've brought up already.
Oh my God. Okay. Pearls. Is it pearls? Is it
It is
pearls? Is it
pearls.
pearls?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, yay, I got it right. Oh no, not, oh no. Oh no. What, okay, how did we torture these people? Into,
It's-
like, fishing out, like, clam guts.
It's yeah. As you said, it's pearls. At the time of the exception, it was mostly Japanese people who were diving for pearls, but the industry had been reliant on Aboriginal Australian slaves or Malay indentured labor its whole existence until that point. One thing that happened was basically indigenous men were being just like thrown down, like go get the pearls, free diving, shit like that.
Yeah.
Some were from communities where that was a thing that happened. Some were just like, oh, you can swim, get down there, or I hope you can swim, get down there. Like just being thrown off.
Yeah,
There were
just
some
being like, get down there or I'll kill you. So it's like, hey, you can either take your chances on like drowning and getting me the thing I want, or I can just like beat you to death right here.
Well, there was a I read a really complicated interview with a gentleman who descends from an English pearl slaver, and to
God.
quote the ABC article, his harem of more than half a dozen mostly Baradi wives through which he had countless children. So
Goodness. Well, that's.
he's a pearler now as well.
Oh, good. And how many wives?
No, because he's like, so I'll show you a picture of this guy.
Show me the man.
Because, like, he's a descendant, really, of the harem, rather than, I think, the guy. He's like he's
Damn, this is an indigenous
this is
man,
just like
yeah.
an indigenous
Oh
man.
God. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really complicated story.
That
Understandably.
is.
Here's a
Wow.
quote right above. His name's Terry. He was definitely a slaver and also a murderer. It was a very brutal time because if one of the younger ones didn't come up with a mother of pearl shell, he'd knock them on the head and send them back down again.
Jesus
fuck?
Christ.
So that's his great-great-grandfather, Terry, the person who's currently a pearl. I mean, he's a tour guide, but also works for the pearling company. Something like that.
That's
Anyway,
fucking nuts.
Man.
yeah,
Oh.
it's a pretty dark article. If you want to read further, it's called "Reconciling the Dark History of Slavery and Murder in Australian Pearling" on ABC. If you're feeling too happy today and want to just knock yourself
Bring that
down a
down.
peg, bring that up. Anyway, so industries get exceptions to human rights laws, blah blah blah. We're finally onto farming. Let's talk about the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme, also known as PALM, or PALM-FALA. Ooh. We're gonna go through the previously mentioned Kafala characteristics and see if they may apply here as well.
Perfect.
So, the employer sponsors the entry of the worker into the country.
Gotcha.
The fundamental aspect of the sponsorship is in many cases illegal, which, as we know, isn't anything.
Yes.
There's plenty of powerful people pulling the purse strings to facilitate this unbelievably fucked up labor situation. From that Sydney Law Review report we talked about, it's usually organized crime that manages the debt, so the employer can wipe their hands off it. Basically, you have a farmer pay a labor hire company, and there's all these guys who are like, we had no idea that the mafia was trafficking these poor people here.
Oh no.
That's crazy that these people who I'm getting for surprisingly cheap aren't being paid well,
Yeah, what?
is what we have to assume.
What? You're telling me that girl at the massage parlor didn't actually like me?
Yeah, same energy. Same
Yeah.
energy from a lot of these
Oh
like
my
manager
God.
farmers. You'll have a farmer,
Fuck.
like, it's often just the farmer doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's these labor hire companies, sometimes it's a farmer. There was a high-profile case reported on in 2017 when a Papuan man came over to Cairns being told he was going to go to TAFE and get a nice job. He then found himself on a banana farm, and he was living in a shed with a dog, and he was being told his pay was being withheld to pay for the TAFE course. So then
What
it's
the fuck?
it's the same thing, right? So, like, that's functionally what is happening is that his entry has been sponsored by the employer.
Yeah.
And the farmer, however, this guy did escape. And the farmer, whose name is Sona Singh Bhela,
Oh no.
we got an Indian.
Oh no.
He might be Fijian. He's in prison now. The other way that this debt relationship plays out structurally for Australia is through, like, taxation and rent. So the Australia Institute put out a study in 2024 that found that, in total, I think the previous year, palm workers spent $468 million back to their home countries, which is the primary reason people are coming here on these palm visas, is that they're going to go back.
Yeah.
but they're paying $750 million in living expenses and $184 million in tax to Australia.
Sorry, run those numbers by me again. So they're doing twice as much
Yes.
to be able to like be here in the first place.
Australia profits off the whole situation.
That's
Of
fucked,
course it is.
naturally,
Of
but
course
that's
it fucking
fucked.
does.
468 million
Jesus.
leaves,
Yeah.
but 930 million comes back.
Jesus Christ, that's fucked.
Also, yeah, palm workers don't necessarily qualify for the tax-free threshold under a certain amount of income. So Australia pockets that as well.
Oh, so they just get the tax. Oh, yeah, because it's just like, oh, you know, you aren't a citizen, you're working, blah,
Exactly.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We get to take a shitload.
It's a debt subscription model.
Yeah.
And then, like, on top of all of that, there's people who are just here illegally.
Mm.
Right? They've been smuggled over or overstayed a visa or whatever, which means the farmer can make them pay back whatever debt they decide and can just threaten to call immigration if they complain or just kill them, I guess. Like, being serious, like,
Yeah,
They don't exist.
just
like,
kill them, throw them in the ocean is what happens. Like, I have to assume in these situations there's rampant, explicit employer sponsorship. Someone's being paid, being told they're getting a nice deal, and then they're, you know, a slave.
yeah.
Once the person is here, they do have to live somewhere and work somewhere. And that brings us to our second Kafala characteristic. The employer controls the residency and work permits of the worker. In this case, it's a nexus of the employer, the rogue labor hire companies. That's the phrase you see. It's like, it's not even, they can't even bring themselves to blame labor hire companies.
Yeah, it's not
which are,
like they're like standard according to schedule functioning. No, they're rogue.
They're rogue.
specifically
The bad
rogue.
ones.
It's the evil
It's
ones.
the bad apples.
It's the bad apples. Like ridiculous behavior from these rascals.
Yeah,
but
these
yeah,
labor hire companies, they're troubled. They have,
they're
you know,
troubled.
they're mentally ill.
They're traumatized. They've got traumas.
They
Yeah.
have bad parents.
Yeah, they
have
weren't
daddy
raised
issues.
right.
Well, that, I
and,
mean, well, that's true of the labor hire companies.
Hey, listen.
So the Australian government and DFAT's also obviously part of this, right? So the residency of the worker, as in where they actually live, is usually at the mercy of the farmer or the overseer, and I have to assume in many cases that is one and the same man. ABC talked to a man from Vanuatu in 2021 for this article, Inside Horticulture's Dark Underbelly, which we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about a bit of it, so definitely have a look at
Dark
this
Underbelly.
article by Ella Archibald Binge on ABC. And 2021, at a time where migrant workers have provided a lifeline to farmers through the pandemic. Even in an article about labor exploitation, they can't stop themselves from this, like, farming frontierism shit.
Yeah.
This is an article about the slavery that allows for farming, and it still is like these brave farmers, like not even questioning the whole structure
it's
of like
so
they,
like weirdly patriotic, and this keeps coming back to the fucking Patreon episode that we talked
does.
about.
It does.
It's this weird patriotism that Australians have and Australian culture has for these farmers that are out there in the rugged environment. They're,
You know,
they're
big
boys out there, they're
farms.
doing it tough, you know.
taming the land or whatever, and they're
Exactly.
so proud of them. They're our boys.
They're our boys.
What
you
are
know?
the boys
You can't
doing?
hate the farmers in the way that like a US person can't hate the soldiers.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You've got this like
It's like that.
it's
That's
such
the
a
feeling.
it's such a massive like taboo to be like, hey, this is bad.
and like look, to be fair, at least like on the face of it, food comes from farmers, whereas death comes from soldiers. That's nice.
I mean, if you're not a
can't do it.
coward, food could come from soldiers.
Exactly. You're just pussies. That's what I'm saying.
So this article, they talked to this guy from Vanuatu. He's picking grapes in Australia, and he's paid by the box, which is piecework as opposed to a wage. So you're paid for the amount that you get.
Yeah.
And he's not getting like close to paying his visa and airfare money back because it's ridiculously low amounts per box. Like
Yeah, and
you
it's
end up getting like $3 an hour,
Fucking
$1
expensive
an
to
hour.
get out of this goddamn country. Yeah?
Exactly. So like, and he has to, you know, still pay back the money to get here
Yeah.
to the situation. So his boss also is not letting him go to church. He's like, no, you have to work on Sunday.
I'm sorry.
7 days of work.
What a
He's,
random fucking thing.
well, because he's Vanuatu, he's quite religious, and he's
Yeah.
like, it's Sabbath, I'm going to go to church. And the boss is like, no, you got to work. You can't take Sunday off to go to church. So this is one of the legal employment situations. So he goes to the United Workers Union, and apparently they help him, and he stays on in a different gig. But they're consistently piecework, and they don't meet his financial needs.
Yeah.
So eventually, one of these rogue labor hire companies finds him and offers him a non-palm job for way more money, doing less work, living in a better house. None of which happens, obviously.
No.
The guy's living in a house with 6 people with no lighting. One guy that the Sydney Law Review found described that when he was an undocumented worker, the contractor would sleep in his car outside the house to make sure like the workers wouldn't leave at all to make any connections with anyone locally.
What is this fucking goonery going on?
It's just classic like slavery, and that's probably the assistant to the head slaver, you know?
Yeah, just being like, you got to make sure
That's
that
his-
nobody's running away in the night or whatever.
Yeah, that's his dumb brother who's not going to be able to get any other job.
Yeah.
You know, like that's who that person is.
Oh,
and that's
God.
how fruits grow here.
That is sickening, truly.
The work permits question itself is a whole thing. I had a read of the New South Wales Anti-Slavery Commissioner's 2024 report, and there was this lovely list of abbreviations at the front. Kieran, can you read these abbreviations out? Just the abbreviation, not the description. I want to see how you pronounce all of this.
Okay. ABF. The Act. ACT. AMIEU. AWU. CLO. DWA. DFAT. DHA. DPERD. FWO. ILO. MIA. New South Wales, which is just NSW. PALM. The Office. UWU. And WHUM.
Oh, ooh, United Workers
Ooh,
Union. I know that one.
UWU and AWU.
So yeah, PALM, the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme, that's about 30,000 people, and it's apparently relatively well regulated, even though it's not well regulated.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Palm workers are obviously typically from the Pacific, mostly Fiji and Vanuatu, and they usually work in agriculture and meat processing. Then there's the less regulated Working Holiday Makers Program, or what'd you call that?
WHUM.
WHUM, which is many more people, about 180,000, and they're on much shorter stays, mostly from Asia. So Taiwan, Indonesia, Vietnam, and South Korea is what the report says. This is the 417 working holiday visa, which comes up a lot. And just put that into your favorite news aggregator and see what comes up. Here were my Google News results for this. What do you see here, Key?
Okay, what do we got? Migrants on working holiday visas allegedly subjected to precarious and exploitative working conditions, including severe injuries of Indonesian workers in abattoirs. Next article. Holiday workers risking injury so Australians can get meat. Next article. SDUWHV war. What you need to know about Indonesia's letter of support for Australian working holiday visa. Next article. 417 and 462 visas. Recovery work areas expanded.
Read the subheading for that.
Subheading says, flood, cyclone, and other disaster recovery work must have been carried out after 31 December 2021 in areas declared affected by severe weather.
So there you can...
Oh, they're making people do recovery work and stuff as well.
Yes.
Damn. And Australian working holiday visa fee rises to $670 as of 1st of July 2025, which is also crazy. Like, I knew someone who, like, they were kind of sort of on one of those weird bridging visas where they'd finished, like, studying but were also trying to, like, work in Australia.
Oh, yeah, I know some people who are like that.
Yeah, and, like... No. This is,
Yes, right.
yeah, like, the fees are crazy. Like,
Yeah. They trap, because once you're here, you got to just keep paying shit.
pretty much. And, like, you had to work, like, we were working an early morning job, so from, like, 3 or 4 a.m. until, like, 9 or 10. And then go on and do another shift from, like, 11 through till, like, I don't know, like, 6 or 7 p.m.
Yep.
And, like, do it all again the next day, over and over and over and over again. And, like, I know that they hadn't had a day off in, like, months.
Yeah.
Just to try and, like, afford everything.
Just to try to, like, sustain yourself and,
Yeah.
like, with the working holiday visa, there's this whole, like, 88 days of work per year situation that gets quite controversial. People get exploited through that. And obviously there's just the fully undocumented situation where you're just completely at the mercy of whoever won't call the police on you, right?
Yeah. Oh, also, and working in hospitality as well. That's another big one. Where, like, a lot of, like, dish hands was just, like, a cash in hand work situation.
Cash in hand.
Boss would pay the dishy, and, they wouldn't really talk to anybody. They would just, like, head down, work.
Yeah.
Get their cash, go home.
Yeah. And that person's kind of like, their work is kind of controlled by their employer
Yeah,
implicitly.
absolutely.
So, talking about being at the mercy of other people, let's have a look at the third Kafala characteristic. The employer must grant permission for workers to change or leave their job. Let's see what we know about that. Kieran, could you read this paragraph of text from a 2024 articles by Matt Withers for the conversation?
I can do that. The workers hired do not have the right to change employers while in Australia, even for contracts of up to 4 years, except via a request from their original employer or a direction from the Department of Employment.
Yeah, so...
Which is, it's just like, hey, you're not allowed... You're stuck in this.
Yeah, you have to stay here.
Unless a higher power, can pull you out of it. This
Exactly.
is it. You don't get the choice.
And why would the Department of Employment bother to do that?
Yeah.
You know? So again, there's different on-the-books laws for the different palm occupations, some seemingly very few of which provide more rights for the worker. Now, all of this wonderful talk about laws and rights is only as good as the ability of the institution to enforce them, and the palm system is extremely bare bones. More than I could believe. So, more than 30,000 people on palm-style visas have to go through a country liaison officer, or CLO, which was on our acronym list earlier.
It was.
If they have an issue with their employer, that's the person they have to contact. Often it's the person who speaks the language they speak. We kind of have heard about the whole Nauru language situation recently.
Yeah, gosh, that was so
Which is
goofy.
very funny. But, it's often literally quite difficult, right? So, there are a grand total of, according to the ABC in September, 17 country liaison officers.
Which
for
is
30,000
absurd.
people.
17?
17.
17.
1-7 for 30,000 people.
Bro, what the fuck?
They don't even, encompass the languages required.
No,
Not even
you can't.
close.
You can't with
Because
just
you can't.
17. What, unless you've got, every single one of those motherfuckers is, a crazy polyglot.
And Australia is saving money on this because rather than paying that person, which means that they're an employee of Australia and are subject to Australian employee things, they're paying it to the government of the country that that person's working for, as it were. So someone living in, the story I read had someone living in Darwin who was one of the 17 CLOs, and she's like, I was doing things all the time. I didn't get paid for 6 months. I found out that Kiribati, I think it was for Kiribati, had spent the money they were meant to pay me that Australia had sent them on something else.
The fuck?
And-
What?
Yeah.
I'm
So-
sorry. On
Yeah.
something else?
Yeah, it was just some other Kiribati stuff.
They're just like, oh shit, sorry. Yeah, no, we were going to send that to you, but,
The
You
wheels,
just didn't.
Sorry, I spend it.
the wheels on the Kiribati go round
Oh,
and...
no.
So, yeah,
You're
we know
busted.
a lot of people on Palm visas have issues with their employer, as at least 7,000 Palm workers absconded in the 5 years up to 2024, as per
Absconsion comes
SBS.
up.
The CLO is going to be busy these days. And what is the deal with absconders? So, number 4 on Kafala, the characteristics was the employer can report the worker for absconding. Kieran, here's the next paragraph from that article for you to read.
Gotcha. This means workers who abandon their employers for reasons including underpayment of wages, excessive deductions, and overcharging for accommodation become absconders and lose their rights.
That's...
Whoa.
I got one more for
Lose
you.
their rights?
You're not ready for
Whoa.
this.
Can't be saying
This is
that.
a DFAT poster from 2021 titled
Oh, what? That's
Absconding,
fucking
the Risks
gross.
and Consequences. Karen,
You know
what
what
do you
this
have
fucking
here?
reminds me
And
of?
what
This
if-
fucking reminds me of that ad that Tony Abbott made or whatever about the stopping the boats, and it was a short film to be shown where we had a lot of illegal people coming from, and it was just you shouldn't get on that boat. You're not gonna make it to Australia. They don't want you there. It's not good. You should stay at home where it's safe.
You will not make Australia home.
There are no exceptions. There is no way you will ever make Australia home.
You know, because you're running away because it's a good place where
Yeah,
you live.
exactly. That's why you left, because you actually really love it in your home country, and it's actually really good and safe. And that's
Yeah.
why you left, because this
Via
is
the most dangerous method,
Yeah.
which is,
via
the
most
open fucking
dangerous-
ocean.
Yeah, the open, and it's because it's actually really good and safe in your country, and of course
People-
that's just what you do.
Yeah.
People say shit like, oh, these are economic migrants. That's something I hear a lot of the time, right? Like, oh, if
Economic
people are, earnestly trying to flee situations, that's okay, but these are economic migrants. Like, motherfuckers on a boat.
Yeah. What part of this feels
talking about?
legitimate?
Like, do you think it's like, oh, I just wish I had a bigger house and a bigger car. I'm gonna get on this fucking, ship, this
Yeah.
dinghy, and go to Christmas Island for the technicality.
Yeah. Anyway, let me. So this is a poster The heading of the poster is Absconding, the Risks and Consequences. And there is a dark-skinned man with his head in his hands, looking very upset.
What a fucking choice as well.
Which
the
is-
optics is absurd.
Fucked. Okay, so we've got the poster. We've got a few headings on here. The first is Visa Conditions for Workers, and it's got some information about, like, your do's and don'ts, and, you know, or you might break the law if you're not careful. And then we have the heading Risks and Consequences of Absconding, which now has a list of things that might happen to you, like your visa may be cancelled, your employer will stop arranging payment of your health insurance, no guaranteed accommodation, no welfare support. You could be mistreated by dishonest employers who do not provide fair working conditions that meet Australian laws.
Those rogue
Oh,
employers.
no.
The bad apples.
The bad apples.
You may not be able to work in Australia again. This may include your family and community members.
Don't worry, gets worse.
Okay. You may damage the relationship between your country and the employer, and you may bring shame to your family's reputation. What the fuck are you? And what the Australian government has said that this is something. You might bring shame to your family's reputation.
Poster.
DFAT, you can see up the top, but yeah,
That's sickening.
DFAT made
That's
this.
sickening.
It's that last line that brought the most media scrutiny at the time. You may bring shame to your family's reputation.
You'll bring honor to us all.
Yeah, because why is what?
I don't know. For me, the most insane one is you may damage the relationship between your country and the employer. Yeah, you specifically now you caused the war between your country.
Yeah,
and
look what you've
your-
done.
and your employer.
I feel like
You've done this, and now your mum wants to kill herself. How could you have fucking done this? Just because you didn't like getting your nightly beating.
Yeah, there's gonna be geopolitical consequences to
You make me
absconding.
fucking sick.
I think Adam Hills has a joke about this, right?
Maybe?
He's like, in a balloon country, there's a balloon town with a balloon school and a balloon principal and balloon students. And one of the balloon students brings in a pin to school.
Oh, fuck, he's
And obviously gets in trouble, right? And the balloon principal sits the balloon student down and is like, listen, you've let yourself down, you let your family down, you've let the whole school down, you've let the country down. Because letting a balloon down...
Because he's got a pin.
He's
Yeah,
got a
he
pin.
did.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, I guess in that context, that's like somebody bringing a gun into a school.
You know?
Yeah, it's like bringing a gun to a
You've
school.
shot your family, you've shot your friends, you've shot the school, you've shot the whole
You-
country.
You shot all these people, he
You've
says,
shot
as shooting.
everybody.
Yeah, no, so for, I suppose, not for the record, the whole thing about the family's reputation, on the other end of this, I don't want to focus on this side of things because obviously, like, it's not everyone from Fiji or whatever that is coming over here. There is a class of people in these countries that don't need to come work in Australia for 6 months, right? And in a lot of places that does seem to come along family lines. So I think, not to, I guess, to be fair about this, but just to say that is bringing something up that is interesting.
It is salient to an extent because
Yes.
there are situations in which it would in fact bring shame to your family. Unfortunately,
Of course,
like
and
family members would take it in that way.
Well,
Of course.
there's that, but also like if you're part of the poor family in an area where the poor family are the ones who come over, and the rich family are the ones who are the like rogue labor hire people who are pocketing the money from it, right? So they're the people they're the compradors essentially in this situation is the rich family in the area, right? And if they hear from the Australian government one of your people's absconded, it's your problem.
Yeah, this
They're the
materially will
naughty dog.
impact your family.
They're the naughty dog.
Exactly. They take the money from the poor family. Like, well, your boy
Yeah.
ran away. The government's mad at us. We need that money from you.
Yeah.
So that's probably money that was being sent back by that person in the first place. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know, that's how this whole situation works.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little heated.
Yeah, and I think you should be. I think
Yeah,
we should all be
yes,
fucking heated about
it's
this
fucking
because this is modern
disgusting.
slavery. This is a foul and disgusting thing that we all enjoy the like product of, right? I can get like a fresh mandarin if I want.
And no one had to be paid for
I didn't
it.
have to do anything. All I had to do was go to the mandarin place. Got myself a fresh mandarin. Oh, that tastes really good. Yum, 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 yum.
You're the one in Brisbane. Don't know the Mandarin place. The
Oh,
place
you
that
don't
just
know
sells
all the
The
mandarins.
Mandarin place where you can just go and get a Mandarin.
Yeah, exactly.
You just go and get it.
You know,
It's coin operated.
I've taken it. It's mine now.
So there's also, I guess, on the back to the absconding, right? There's the threat of what life on the run would actually be like, which does function as quite a deterrent.
Yeah, of course, because A, that's already incredibly difficult, and B, Australia is a very racist country.
Yeah.
So you're already, like you're fucked. Like, you are quite fucked.
Yeah, the ABC had a conversation with a guy from Malaysia who came here not under Palm, so he was undocumented the whole way. At one point, he was paying $40 a week to live in a shipping container with 8 people.
What the
It's fucking nuts.
Women trapped in these conditions talk about being sexually harassed and groped while trying to climb ladders and stuff, and having to keep quiet because they're like, we'll deport you if you say anything. And that kind of brings us to our last characteristic. The employer must grant permission for the worker to exit the country. This is the characteristic in which the Australian slavery system, and Karen, I'm going to ask you to give it a sexy modern name at the end of this.
Okay.
But the Australian system most obviously deviates from Kafala. I mean, on one side, people are just being like locked in houses or whatever. So inherently, they're not being granted permission to leave the country. Many people go to heartbreaking lengths to ensure they aren't kicked out. In the case of these cowboy contracts, if a laborer falls pregnant, they can be sent home. And many people come over. They don't realize they're sharing a room with 12 other people. There's frequently attested sexual assault. Women get pregnant. They end up working while heavily pregnant and self-inducing abortions in bathrooms, in the fields, whatever.
Yeah.
On the other side of this, if the cops catch you, they will kick you out of the country rather than taking you to prison or whatever. And
It's cheaper.
Exactly. Rather than like, no, we're going to reform you and get you back being a slave. It's like, no, just fuck off. We'll get another one.
Yeah.
The Australian government is one of the sets of people benefiting from this labor. So they're kind of the employer here. And the employer has you in the situation where you're not allowed to leave because if you do, you have to leave. And like with costs, like America, right? The disparity in income between Australia and the Pacific nations facilitates this absolutely fucked deal. I read a story about a lady from Kiribati who was working in a hotel here as a cleaner. And it was one of the Palm situations that was completely above board, right? Like everything was being followed to the letter. She was getting minimum wage. And she said she was earning more than the president of Kiribati.
What?
Working as a cleaner, right? And so she said she was getting, I think, 39,000 a year, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and there are 2 Wikipedia pages that give different numbers with the same broken source. So I'm not sure. But the number is somewhere between $15,000 and $80,000 for the president of Kiribati.
That's a really broad,
Very broad.
amount.
I guess for that lady, like maybe, like the fact of the matter is there are comparable numbers, which I think the president should be getting the same amount as a cleaner, in principle. However, it's strange to see that.
Yes.
But it does go to demonstrate like how much.
The president shouldn't get anything because the president shouldn't be there to begin with.
I mean, that's the thing.
But that's the thing.
That's the thing.
Also, who's paying the president? I am very curious about who's paying the president.
like
That's just taken out of tax or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's just
Money.
it just really tickles me to think about that the president gets his fortnightly
gets his
paycheck.
flag.
Yeah,
Gets his
he's
paycheck
like-
and he's like, yes, fuck.
Oh, thank goodness. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Who's paying the president? If it's a Pacific Island nation, it's some Australian.
Yeah, it's probably
it's some Australian getting some preferential treatment. So, okay, we'll leave today with a little tale of one farmer in Australia. In 2016, Ian McAllister is a humble chairman of the Summer Fruit Export Alliance. Sorry, he is a humble independent stone fruit farmer. He's excited because he believes that access to as many new markets as possible can only be positive for the industry because of the domestic oversupply situation, which is one way of looking at things, I suppose. The idea Ian's trying to sell is that there's so many apricots, they're having to sell them so cheaply to actually get rid of these little bitches in Australia. So he's excited to be allowed to sell them overseas, focusing on China at this point. Estimates are that something like a quarter of nectarines, for example, are going to be bought by people over there.
Okay.
I'm just imagining like one of those like used car salesmen, and it's just like crazy fucking Andrew's deal. I'm bleeding apricots. Take them off my hands. Help my children. They said no more nectarines, Dad. Like,
That's his article in 2016. He's like, we got so many fucking apricots, we're going to give them to Chinese.
I can't fucking give them away. Take them from me. I'm shooting them across the ocean.
Sorry.
Even the fish won't eat them anymore. Help me.
So He's got 150 hectares
my
of
God,
fruits.
beautiful.
And he's extremely subservient to industry and blind to the ills of capitalism. A story by
Oh my God, be still my heart. My favorite kind of guy.
Farmer Wants a Wife. A story by Good Fruit and Vegetables, is the name of the publication, around the same time interviewed Ian about the crusade that Fruit Rights Australia was prosecuting.
Crusade.
Do you know about Fruit Rights Australia?
Not the fruit
The
crusade.
fruit right? Do they
Damn.
monitor
Yes,
the rights of fruits in the
ally,
country?
fruit rights.
What do you think Fruit Rights Australia are about?
I think it is a really well-intentioned but poorly titled thing for 60-year-olds who are like gay rights.
You think so?
Yeah, they're like fruit pride.
Yeah, they're fruit. Yeah, they're trying their
Yeah,
best.
we
pride.
love the fruits.
Yeah, just like, fags for fags or
Fags
whatever.
for fags.
Just
Yeah.
a bunch
Fags
of
for fags.
smokers.
Hags for fags.
A bunch of smokers for gay rights.
Yes.
Do you want to give a
genuine answer?
guess for who Fruit Rights Australia are?
It's gonna be like a coalition of farm owners who are like, we deserve the right to have slaves picking our fruit.
It's kind of that. It's kind of worse. They are
Oh.
people who do intellectual property for fruit.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
know,
fucking kill you.
So
What
people
do you mean?
people aren't growing trademark trees.
And
You know?
Like what? Oh! I own the fucking birch tree now.
Yes. So
What? No, you can't just say yes. What do you mean?
basically, Ian has to pay royalties and a subscription because he's got a special tree from a special tree company that's trademarked that tree. So you can't grow it unless you're
Oh
paying
my
royalties.
God.
Genetically, they've trademarked it. What do you? Or
Yes.
This is just like a species. You can't
Yes.
do that.
They do.
You can't do
Fortunately,
that.
you can,
Oh, sorry, we've
which
got the.
is,
This is gonna be that fucking the Royal Gala apple tree. So now, if you want to fucking grow Royal Gala apples from our trees, you have to fucking pay a subscription so you can use the tree to make the fruit. Is that what it is?
It's like how certain foods
Sick in the head.
like certain foods, certain cheeses and stuff, you can't call it a certain name.
Oh, 'cause it's
unless
not
it
grown in the
unless
fucking,
it is made
it's-
in a specific location.
It's not grown in
You
the
can't
ladyfinger
actually-
region of bananas or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's the same.
It's
principle.
it's the same. It's frustrating, especially because I'm just thinking about all the people that I care really deeply about that have disagreements about this issue. So I'm going to say, let's put GMOs to the side for a second as a whole discussion. The intention,
I could go in on GMOs. I'm sorry.
the intention as it is, I worked at a food co-op. I know a lot of people can go in on GMOs in a lot of directions. The idea is these trees have been specifically bred to be most resistant or produce the most crop or they rot the least or whatever, right?
Seedless,
yeah,
etc.
or have a higher percentage of nutrients in them.
Whatever. I don't buy it, but whatever, right? If on that premise, right, it's so much better for everyone in the country who's growing the apples or whatever to have the quote unquote best apples, right? And in a business
eugenics apples.
exactly, and in a business sense, it does mean that if you don't have those ones,
Oh, you're fucked.
fucked.
Nobody's gonna buy your filthy
Organic,
non-genetically
or
modified
whatever,
apples,
right?
yeah.
It just and because you have to pay the subscription. And Ian was interviewed, right? And he's like, I understand why they're doing it, but I don't like the idea of other growers using the same varieties and getting away without paying anything. So he's paying his subscription. He's like, I can't believe these other farmers aren't paying their subscriptions to the apples or whatever.
Can't believe these idiots aren't
So
being
he-
fooled into paying money.
So he wants
for,
everyone
life.
to pay. He wants everyone to pay the subscription instead
Yes.
of he doesn't want anyone to pay the subscription.
This is a pro-intellectual property, pro-export apricot farmer.
wonderful. We
Well,
love
Ian
to
so
see it,
far.
and that's what we want.
But, Ian decides, he's like, hey, I'm not going to work with these dodgy labor rogue hire contractors we've heard so much about. He goes clean in 2017, and 4 years later, it all fucking falls to pieces. ABC talked to him as part of Horticulture's Dark Underbelly, which we looked at a bit before. He's
Yeah.
very sad. That's Ian.
Oh no, he's frowning.
Normally, he has 60 fruit pickers, but with COVID restrictions on travel and because he's not going to use these rogue labor hire companies, he's only been able to get 16. So he's just mulching hundreds of acres of peaches and stone fruit and stuff because he doesn't have people to pick them, and we'll get to that in a sec.
Right.
In 2022, he said he was quitting farming, citing the
Fucking done with this shit.
citing the lack of a stable, reliable, legal workforce who shows up every day happy to do the job.
Oh, so these people can just like quit farming.
Yeah, he just quit farming.
So they
Yeah.
can just quit farming, right?
Just
right,
quit-
right. So that's interesting. That's interesting. You can just like do that.
Yeah,
You're allowed
don't
to
you
change
need
your
permission
job.
from like the government for that or something?
quit farming?
Don't you? Yeah. What are they gonna? They've taken your farming visa. What are you
don't-
gonna do now?
I don't think he's actually quit farming. I think he's quit being his own farm, and he like now is a. I don't know. I tried to follow him up. I don't know what Ian's like specifically. What I'm seeing here is massive farming businesses have been set up to be reliant on significant export revenue and extremely cheap labor to be viable at all. My instinct is, well, Ian's probably not offering enough money for shit work. He probably can't if he wants to keep his business being profitable,
Yeah.
which, like, womp womp. But that is how food production works in this country. Like, at the end of the day, a bunch of food was mulched.
Yeah.
And that's not good. That's not an ideal situation that food could have gone to people.
Yeah.
Right? So in 2021, there was an attempt to get Australian workers back to fruit picking with a financial incentive of $6,000 that workers didn't know if they were going to receive until, in some cases, after their contracts were finished. They kind of had to hope they were going to get all or part of the reimbursement. Many of them didn't. The story I'm talked to a couple of workers who said at the time that, like, the amount of time I have to spend and money I'd have to spend getting everything ready to get this incentive would make getting the incentive not worth it.
That's
I
so
might not
fucking
get it.
stupid. Yeah.
Someone was interviewed and he's like, yeah, it was during COVID. I was tired of working in an office. The business I was working for was going downhill. I'm like, I'll try pick fruit. He kind of described himself as like, yeah, I'm not one of those lazy millennials. I'm going to go pick fruit. And he's like, the options were shit. I was getting not enough money. I was getting piecework wages. And like, I wasn't able to sustain myself well enough to pick the fruit.
Yeah.
It's just simple as that. He's like, I'll pick fruit for a summer. That sounds great, or
Yeah.
whatever. In the last few years, an attempt at slightly ameliorating this condition has come through the system. People working on a farm have this weird situation where they can be paid in piecework. You get dollars per bushel or whatever. But if you end up receiving at less than the minimum wage, then they have to give you the difference to make you have received the minimum wage.
Yeah.
So the fact that that's the system rather than you give them the minimum wage and then piecework on top
Yeah.
feels like it's
Yeah.
like ripe for exploitation in the just like arbitrage.
Absolutely. Like, it feels like everyone should be guaranteed that. And then,
Yeah.
you are performing above KPI.
You get a
Here's
bonus.
a cheeky bonus.
Like I don't like that in general anyway, but like,
But, like, that makes sense if that's the way you want to fucking do it.
but doing it is like, no, they're piecework, but if they're not getting minimum wage, you have to recompense them. Often, I mean, just practically, is going to require somebody who often doesn't really speak English, doesn't necessarily have the ability to manage their own finances in a technical sense, kind of trying to figure that out themselves.
Yeah.
It doesn't even address the issue of undocumented labor on farms. There have been attempts to get an amnesty. There have been amnesties for undocumented workers in Australia before, but that's not going forward. And big farmers are describing like the rising minimum wage as, labor being a pain point and major cost. They're investing in autonomous vehicles and hydroponic, fully machine controlled greenhouses.
Yeah.
An ABC article from 2025 talked to a guy who has adapted his workforce, moving to labor hire contractors to get in a certain number of workers at specific times in the season. They're like, he's innovating.
Is he?
That's
I hope he's avoiding those dodgy contractors.
Yeah, the bad apples and the rogues. I
Yeah.
guess.
You know
we're
what
gonna-
we do with bad apples? We have to mulch them.
We're going to mulch it. We're going to abruptly end there. Kieran,
Damn.
what are we naming Australia's slavery system?
Oh, okay. I think it needs to have like a kind of like official name because this is very much like a government like sponsored as well. But I want it to like hark back to that idea of like almost like a semi-adoption, like a parentified kind of like ownership.
So if it's a government thing, we're talking a 3-4 letter acronym then.
Yes, and so I want to think it's gonna be the it's gonna be called WAP. And it's going to be the Working Adoption Policy. And the idea is that you receive a working adoption visa, and it's that you can, be... you are adopted into an Australian family who manages your accommodation, who manages kind of like the care of you.
Like you would a child.
Exactly, like you would a child. You know, it's kind of almost like, you know, when you have an exchange student, you know, you go to a family, they're going to like take care of you, they'll show you around, blah, blah, blah. You are working, of course, because you are of working age. And so you're working for the family and they will be able to determine your wages. Yeah, but they give you a place to live. Isn't that nice? You get to exist there. Isn't that wonderful?
They feed you. They put a roof over your head.
Yeah, what do you want now? Oh, privacy. Oh, I want to be able to leave. Oh, now you want to leave, huh? All this
Oh, I must
work.
be such a bad parent.
Oh, looks like I've been a bad dad. Oh, guess I'm the worst dad ever. No, you can't have your passport. Clean out the shed. And we love the WAP policy.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I was trying to figure something out, and I couldn't get anything going, but I came up with growing Australia's young future leadership, or GayFL.
Nice. I like it. Pretty good. Pretty good. This is the service-led Australian visa enterprise.
Service-led Australian
Ooh,
enterprise.
that's really funny.
Yeah.
It's slave.
Oh my God, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's the service-led Australia visa enterprise.
That's all right. We got the service. Okay, one of these will be the title for the episode. So, that's like I know that was very abrupt, but folks, I got hemorrhoids, and I was like, I've concluded the episode like 4 times already. I think we've summarized the point. We've
and
kept
we're all
hammering
like very
the point.
sleepy from yesterday.
Happy birthday again, June.
Thank you,
Happy
June.
birthday.
I hope you
Excellent.
enjoyed
We're so sleepy.
learning about
tired.
slavery.
Yeah.
As your present. Could you go to
You're
the next
welcome.
slide? I think I have just the farewells on there.
Oh,
yeah,
stunning.
beautiful. I forgot to put a new phone number on for someone, but
Oh, right. Hey, pick a random food grower and call them and ask them about their work practices.
ask them if they're with like a regular labor hire company or a dodgy labor
One of those
hire
dodgy
company.
labor
One of
hire
those dodgy
companies. One of those
ones
bad evil.
that are
And
doing
ask
things that
them
we
to
don't
prove
want.
it as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
be like, what can you give me as proof?
Yeah. Shoot me the screenshots, the receipts, as it were.
So you're calling a fruit company you call Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Jobs there? Oh my God, he's dead. Anyway,
What do you mean?
we've been Shouldn'ta Come. Thank you. We've been Shouldn'ta Come. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what we do and you want to support us in like a fiscal sense, you can come adopt us at www.patreon.com/shouldntacome. That's SHOULDNTACOME. You can email us, send us a visa at shouldntacome@gmail.com.
That's
Hey, love us and then leave us and destroy our rights. Thank you.
all right. We'll be back next week. Bye, everyone.